Hello.
Hello.
For once, we are starting bang on time.
You time never.
Nah. Makes a difference from being early, which also sounds really weird for me.
Late, which again sounds weird. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, hi everyone. Welcome back to the stream. And today, things are going to be a little bit different because a lot of the stuff we will be talking about, we can't, but I'll get on to that in a moment.
It's not that we can't, it's the fact that we don't know how to word it at the moment.
Yeah. Going to be changing a few things on the streams as well, which I'll talk about a bit later on. Anyway, just going to start this off as I usually do with my 15 minutes of motorsport. Unfortunately, the F1 summer break is still going on. We're about halfway through it now, thank God. Only 2 more weeks till the Dutch Grand Prix. Yes! There is another NASCAR race this weekend, I believe in the Indianapolis Motorspeedway road course, which is a first for the NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity, and Truck Series, so all three NASCAR series. IndyCar, I don't think they're doing... Oh, no, they are doing the Indianapolis road course as well this weekend. So they're not doing the Indy 500 because that's the oval course, but IndyCar is back at Indianapolis this weekend. And, rather suspiciously, Alex Albon, former Red Bull driver, was in an IndyCar testing this weekend, so he might be going to IndyCar next year. Possibly. Maybe.
Perhaps.
Who knows? Which could scuff a few of my 2022 driver predictions for F1. Well, time to go back to the drawing board.
No, first of all, acquire a drawing board, then draw on it.
Yes, and then make a massive chain of who could go where and who will not go where. Oh boy.
Oh no.
And speaking of the F1 2022 driver lineup, still no announcements of anyone. Like, the summer break is almost over. Like, this next week, and then we're heading into a race week. So...
We've got time.
True, but it's going to be an absolutely insane next 2 weeks. Because they are definitely going to start announcing over the next 2 weeks.
They should do, hopefully.
Fingers crossed, yeah. Yeah, to be honest, I'll admit I don't have that much motorsport stuff to talk about this weekend because there isn't that much, except for one thing, actually. Moving back to NASCAR real quick. A few days ago, the NASCAR 2021 video game has been unveiled. We officially have a title and a release date, and we know some extra stuff.
Oh, right, okay.
For example, the pre-order, you'll be able to play it a whole 2 days early, because the main release is the 28th of October, which is really late for NASCAR games. Like, they've usually come out already at this time of year.
Yeah.
But this time it's releasing October 28th/26th, thanks to the pandemic. And it being a new game series, because they've ditched the NASCAR Heat title and have called it NASCAR 21 Ignition. And there's going to be 2 versions of the game. One that's called the Championship Edition, no, the Champions Edition, thinking of F1 there, and the regular edition. Now, there's only going to be one big difference between the regular edition and the Champions Edition, and that is the addition of Chase Elliott's dad, Bill Elliott, as a playable character in the game, and his old NASCAR color scheme on his car. But something that will be shared with both editions of the game is 3 DLC drivers plus their old liveries from their cars. But unfortunately, those 3 drivers we don't have identities of. But I do have some predictions, and I think it'll be DLC number 1, Jimmy Johnson. 2, Tony Stewart. 3, Richard Petty, aka the King. And yeah, that's the deal with this year's NASCAR game. It's actually being co-produced by Codemasters, some ex-Codemasters workers who are currently working on the F1 game series. So they're bringing a lot of expertise over from that game series into the NASCAR series of games.
Are you going to be getting the game?
I unquestionably will.
Are you going to pre-order the game? That's the big question.
Maybe. I don't know. I might get it as a Christmas present, so I might not get the pre-order. Like, the only thing the pre-order gets you is A, the game 2 days early, and B, a custom paint job, which,
I mean,
like,
look around, see if there's any other places that offer more pre-order stuff than just that.
yeah. Oh no, that's the only thing that the pre-orders come in with.
Well, they said that with stuff like Kingdom Hearts, but then a couple of different shops had different things to
fair
offer.
point. Yeah, I'll take a look, but I probably won't get the pre-order.
Fair.
But yeah, I am really looking forward to this game because this game looks absolutely gorgeous. Like there were some shots in the trailer where I thought, okay, no, they've took that from an actual race. Nah.
Very, very much realism then.
Oh yeah. Considering the last game I played was NASCAR 07 on the PSP, it's going to be a bit of a jump.
I mean, you've got low expectations.
True, but that game was good because, believe it or not, back in those days, EA was good.
And EA wasn't very pushy on DLC.
Yeah, and microtransactions, yeah.
Same thing.
Exactly. But yeah, that game I remember was absolute gold. So this game's gonna have to be something special. But with some of the Codemasters people on the game development jobs, I've got good faith.
Well, let's hope that faith isn't.
Yeah. Oh, what were you going to say? Sorry.
Yeah, let's hope that faith hasn't gone in the wrong place at this point, because
I hope not.
Otherwise, it's going to be like Cyberpunk all over again.
Yeah. Well, from what I've heard, the Heat series, which is the last 5 NASCAR games from 2015 to 20, were absolutely terrible. So hoping the Ignition series will revitalize the NASCAR video game scene. But there is another motorsports game on its way, but not quite yet. Indycar is getting its first video game since 2004 in 2023.
All right.
Yeah. Which will, of course, include a lot of ex-Formula 1 drivers, which I'm very happy about.
Always good.
And I will probably get that just for the sole reason of an absolute ton of ex-Formula 1 drivers. Like, there's a lot in there. I think like half the grid's been in Formula 1 at some point.
Perhaps.
Yeah, but the one thing I do like about IndyCar and NASCAR, their grids are double the size of Formula 1. F1, you have 20 cars. NASCAR, you have 40.
I mean, well, both, it's to do more like with the models of the cars, because while Indy and NASCAR are able to have like a lot more in there, you can see how bulky the cars are compared to like Formula
F1.
1. Yeah. Imagine 40 cars for Formula 1 just driving.
Oh god, that would be a crash and a half.
A crash and a half, that'd be 2 times a crash.
Yeah, no, because like in NASCAR, bump drafting is a thing where you're literally touching the back end of another driver's car. You do that in Formula 1, you're both about to hit a battery at very high speeds. Yeah. which is a rather big difference between the two. You can go right up to somebody's back end in a NASCAR, do that in a Formula One, you're both out in about 5 seconds' time.
Yeah, we're not trusting that.
No. But hopefully this NASCAR 21 Ignition game's really good, as it's being hyped up to be, and hopefully it won't be as bad as the Heat series. Although apparently, from what I've heard, that will be very hard.
How hard will it be? Is the question.
From what I've heard, it would have to be ET video game levels of bad.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, the most legendary video game of all time. Or should I say infamous?
Not gonna lie, I want to unironically play
it. Part of me does as well, but a part of me really, really doesn't.
Oh no, I fully just want to see how bad it is.
Well, from what I've heard, if you want to find a copy, you should probably take a visit to the Nevada desert.
I mean, I would take the trip, but I would take a lot. That would take too much prep.
True, but the reason I say that is because when the game failed as badly as it did, all remaining copies that the game developers had buried them in the Nevada desert.
I think of that, and then I also think of like Dream SMP with the Lost Nevadas. Or they just built on top of all previous copies of their equivalent of ET.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but that's seriously, that's exactly what they did. So if you want to find a copy, your best bet is to go there and dig one up.
I can respect that. I probably won't at the moment because I don't want to travel.
More than fair. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna actually end the motorsport talk here, as I said, I don't have all that much to talk about. In fact, I've talked about everything that I could have. And I'm gonna actually swap out something that I've been talking about for the last few weeks, because I do have an alternate plan for it. Usually, at this point, I would talk about D&D. However, there are two factors into me not talking about it this weekend. One, we didn't actually do it yesterday. It was another board game day, which was pretty good. Excuse me. And, well, I'm going to actually scrap the D&D section of the podcast entirely, because every Thursday, releasing every Thursday, will be a little story update of the D&D story. And releasing every Saturday will be a series that I'm going to call D&D for Dummies.
Now, you might think those times are very convenient, as that's when he used to release the predictions and the overviews.
Yeah. And speaking of those are going to come in place of the D&D section in the podcast. Thank you for that segue.
Yeah, might as well.
So yeah, speaking of which, but I'm going to switch it around. I'm going to do overview, then predictions. So
that makes sense, but we can still talk about little bits of D&D, but not in big quantities. It's just like any major funny moments we can mention.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there won't be a D&D story update this week because, as I said, we didn't do it yesterday, so I have nothing to update, really.
What do you mean? You can just start from the beginning of how it all started with your character crying.
I could, but although I do have the Black Panther video to do as well.
You've got a lot of stuff you can do. It's just whether you're gonna.
Yeah. I might start the story updates next week, so I can get some information off the DM too to make sure I'm up to speed, because a lot of it has slipped my mind.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me.
Would you be? I think you'd be more surprised if it didn't.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's been like, what, 2 months now? If not more.
Okay, so I remember which week we did it, because we did it like the last week of May. We started that, and then it
Yeah.
was June, July. We ended up continuing.
Carrying it on as a story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, What If Episode 1 released earlier this week, and I totally didn't forget to do my predictions about it last week because I forgot the date. That's all?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to rectify that this week. Anyway, this first episode of Marvel's What If asked a very simple question. What if Peggy Carter took the super soldier serum instead of Steve Rogers? And we had that question answered thanks to a very simple question that she gave an alternate answer to. When Steve is about to receive his super soldier serum dose, Dr. Erskine asks her if she'd be more comfortable up in the booth. And instead of, as in the main timeline, saying yes, she says actually no. I think I'll stay down here. And then everyone stays down in the main area where Steve is getting his super soldier injection. And then, of course, things play out kind of similarly to how it did in the original film, in that the German, as in the Nazi spy, did detonate his bomb. But Peggy was just able to shield Steve. But unfortunately, Steve hadn't gone in yet, so he got, unfortunately, shot. And then, unfortunately, as well, there was no one around to take the serum, so Peggy kind of said, I'll do it. And she did. And then became Captain Carter.
One way of doing it.
Then we get a scene from the original film as it played out, with Red Skull retrieving the Tesseract from Germany. So that played out in this timeline the same way as it did in the original. But then we see bits and bobs throughout what would be Captain America, the First Avenger. So, like, we see the prison break of the Howling Commandos, aka the 107th, which is Bucky's squad, I guess you could call them. And then we see the Howling Commandos fight alongside Captain Carter, with that iconic scene of them busting through the door and Captain Carter now, shooting a bunch of Nazis. And then, halfway through the episode, we see the Howling Commandos and Captain Carter get caught in a massive mortar shelling, and Peggy calls in air support, and she gets it. With his name is the Hydra Stomper, but I'm probably going to end up calling him Iron Man, because he is.
Fair.
But it isn't Stark. No. It's Steve.
Oh, okay.
Steve is Iron Man now. And you know what? I'm fine with that. And yeah, like, they ended up bonding a little bit due to their battles during, again, what would have been the film. And then we see the end of the film, basically, where in the original timeline, Steve was going to hop onto the Hydra train with the Howling Commandos, and of course, Bucky would fall off to later become the Winter Soldier. But in this timeline, those events didn't exactly occur as they would have. They did make a couple of jokes, though, which I was very happy about, because, well, Bucky was about to fall off. Peggy saves him, and he says, geez, you could have ripped my arm off there. And it was his left arm that she grabbed.
Oh.
So that was a pretty cool reference. I will admit this episode was very reference heavy to the original timeline. But then we see, unfortunately, that the train got blown up and Steve in his Iron Man suit, I still can't call him the Hydra Stomper. I can't do it. Fall off the train. And at that point, we all thought, uh-oh, Steve, Winter Soldier, oh no. And I will admit, throughout the episode, there was a budding romance between Steve and Peggy, so it appears that even across universes, that still happens. But of course, as the Super Soldier story goes, Peggy gets caught in an accident at the very end of, again, what would be the first Avenger. The Red Skull is able to actually use the Tesseract, unlike in the first Avenger, and bring through what is literally a Hydra. Yeah, and then Peggy, finding a sword that she's just managed to pull out of the room that they're in, saves everybody and is brought into this weird alternate dimension where this Hydra exists. And then the episode ends, kind of, and then we see Avengers 2012, and we see Nick Fury activate the Tesseract, and then all of a sudden, Captain Carter comes through. And she says, "Where is Steve Rogers?" And Nick says, "The war ended 70 years ago." And then, "Who are you?" And Hawkeye shows up and says, "Yo, that's Captain Carter. Episode done."
Well then.
Yeah, well then indeed. Now, unfortunately, so that was an extremely good episode. I was very impressed. I've heard a lot of people saying they didn't like it. I can't see why. Like, would you say that episode sounded good from what I just said?
It sounded interesting to somebody who isn't usually keeping up with all of it. But it's more, I do see where they're coming from if they don't like it so much, as one, it's an alternate timeline. So they're going through options of what if. But two, it mainly due to, because you said one, it's very reference heavy, but that might have just taken away from everything, because if they're referencing a different line too much, it makes it feel a bit more, a bit less convenient, a bit more artificial in a sense. So you're just forcing.
I think the only references they made was the dance that Steve and Peggy were due to have at the end of World War II, and the whole Winter Soldier, you nearly ripped my arm off thing. Those are the only two references they made, really. But yeah, I'll be honest, it was a very good episode. Very long, and I think that's what it needed. I think it was about 45 minutes, and it definitely needed that runtime.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to my predictions for the next one. Now, I'll admit, I have just had to look up the next one to remember which one it is, because we've had episode 2 and 3's episode questions leaked. I just couldn't remember which was which.
Ooh.
So, next episode is, what if Tachala became Star-Lord? Now, I will say this episode is going to be extremely sad.
You think?
Oh, for a very specific reason. This will be the airing of Chadwick Boseman's last performance before his death.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he recorded it mere weeks before he passed last August. And actually, the release of this episode will be, I'm pretty sure, the 1-year anniversary of his death, or very close to it. So this episode is going to be a tearjerker for a lot of people. I know I will be included in that list very easily.
So what you're telling me is I'm going to have to send you tissues.
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay, got it. I'll get them packed and ready.
Yeah, like, it is going to be tough to hear, because, again, it's Chadwick, because they have animated Chadwick Boseman's face perfectly, probably in tribute to him.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have, again, this is the last time we will hear his voice, which is, it's going to be tough to watch. But
Well,
of course,
as long as you enjoy the episode, then it's not in vain.
Definitely. But as for the episode itself, I think it's going to be very similar to Guardians of the Galaxy 1, specifically the beginning part of it where we're introduced to Star-Lord. Like, I think we'll get the origin of how Tachala got in the same situation that Peter Quill did in the main timeline. So I think I know who's going to end up dying. So, T'Challa can become Star-Lord. And I'm pretty sure...
Are you going to assume that it's going to be a death that causes...
I mean, from what information we've gathered, it's going to be.
Okay.
Like, and I think the death that's... Because how the original Star-Lord worked was... Peter's father, aka Ego, had contracted Yondu to collect him should his mother die, because Ego is a planet. And I think that's going to happen in this episode again. But I think instead of Ego, it's going to be King T'Chaka, aka the former Black Panther.
Ah.
So that means he will actually be dying about 30 years earlier than he did in the original MCU.
That's not nice.
No. Very sad, but again, I think that's going to have to happen for him to become Star-Lord properly.
Yeah.
Like, Yondu wouldn't just randomly kidnap a kid who still has somebody to look out for him.
Are you sure about
that? Fair point, but the only stretch I have is how would T'Chaka know Yondu? That's the only stretch that I have with that, really. Like, again, I think much like the Bad Batch, this show isn't really meant to be predictable.
Yeah.
Because as I said, last episode was what if Captain America became Captain Carter, and this episode is what if Black Panther is actually Star-Lord. So I think they will explain some stuff eventually as to how all this has occurred. So I think that'll be predictable, but as for each episode, not as much. But you know me, I'm going to try anyway.
Mm-hmm. No harm in trying.
Of course. But yeah, we have also seen a replication of the scene where Yondu dies in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 after the fight with Ego. So I think we're going to see Yondu die as well, which is going to be very, very sad, because it was bad enough watching that the first time, but watching it in another timeline, oh, wonderful. But I also don't think that we're going to see the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh?
I think this is just going to be Star-Lord.
All right.
Like, I just can't see them. I just don't think they're going to... I think they're just going to have it as Star-Lord and the Ravagers, who appear to be pacifistic in this universe, whereas in the main MCU, they are literally a massive, massive organized crime organization.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some massive differences, and I think one of the main ones, there's going to be no Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh.
That's probably going to be my boldest prediction for this episode.
Your boldest prediction.
Yeah, because like Star-Lord, like having Star-Lord without the Guardians is like having Captain America without his shield. Or Hulk without getting angry and turning green.
Okay, yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, so that's how, and I think they might switch that up on us because, as I said, this is an entirely different timeline. Doesn't necessarily mean that things have to carry out the same way.
Yeah.
As we obviously know. But I think that might be one of the biggest changes they make so far. But yeah, those are my predictions for episode 2 of What If? What if T'Challa became Star-Lord? And that is my overview as well for episode 1 of What If? What if Peggy Carter became Captain Carter? Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really can't wait for that next episode, not gonna lie. Anyway, I have made a brief discovery as well. Now that the Bad Batch has come out, we have an additional 10 seasons of Star Wars shows coming within the next year. We've got, oh god, Vision's coming up next in September. And then it's Mandalorian Season 3, Ahsoka Season 1, Andor Season 1, Kenobi Season 1, The Bad Batch Season 2, and I fully can't remember the rest. Oh, Acolytes as well, which we're assuming is going to be Sith related. Anyway, yeah. So that's all the Star Wars stuff coming in the next year on Disney Plus. Anyway, that is my Disney Plus section done of the live streams. Hope you like it in this format.
I mean, you can actually just invite people to help you talk with us, because while I'm not the most useful on it.
Well, I have actually kind of arranged sort of something today for the end of What If, so I'll get back to you on that one.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I've sort of arranged something basic plan, but I'll get back to you once I have it fully concretely sorted.
Okay.
All I'll say is I have mentioned him on the channel a fair few times in relation to Marvel.
Okay, it's my turn for
but
my
yeah,
head
I'll
to
leave it
go
as...
blank.
Huh?
It's my turn for my head to go blank. I can't think now.
I'll explain after the stream.
Please do.
I will, don't worry. Speaking of Marvel as well, at some point in the next week or two, maybe, I will have my first unboxing video to do on the channel.
All right. Yeah.
As a couple of months ago, somebody who I have also mentioned on the channel very briefly is a channel called The After Credits Scene, who did a very similar thing to what I was doing with the Marvel shows. And he ran a YouTube contest for 3 Falcon and the Winter Soldier Funko Pops, being, spoiler alert, Sam as Captain America, Baron Zemo, and Bucky. Guess who won? Yours truly.
When are they supposed to be arriving?
I don't know, but they have been shipped, so they are en route to the United Kingdom as we speak.
Hey.
Last I heard, they were in Miami.
Okay, so they're having a great holiday.
Oh, yeah. So they should be with me in the next couple of days. I will also have a slight food review as well, as he's sending me over a Hostess Ding Dong, as I've never tried one of those.
I'm sorry, it's just funny.
Yes, okay, yeah, I know. Yeah.
I am a child. I'm a child.
Yeah. On it, chances are it will be eaten before I make the video, so...
It just means we have to order more.
Agreed.
If you like them, that is.
wholeheartedly.
If you like them, that is.
It's a chocolate cake covered in chocolate. I think chances are I'm gonna love it to bits.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, like that will probably unveil my true chocoholicness.
Chocoholic's better than alcoholics, so we'll go with that.
Oh, preach. So, is there anything that you want to talk about?
I'm not too sure. I mean, again, I've had my second jab today, so head's a bit fuzzy.
Which is absolutely brilliant news, apart from the head being fuzzy.
Yeah, and the fact that they let me in after, because the minimum amount of time you can wait is actually 4 weeks, but they recommend doing it after 6.
Yeah.
As I was told, if I booked earlier, they would have sent me away because I booked too early.
Oh no.
So yeah, there's something to know.
Yeah, so you had it on just at the right time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not bad. So that means that me and you are both fully dosed, which is pretty good to be able to say.
Yeah, it's fun to think that it's taken just over. It's taken like a year or two just to make and distribute. Give me a sec. I can't even word today.
Okay.
Distribute.
Yep.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
A vaccine.
Yeah. Well, technically, it took less than a year, really.
I'm counting for when we found out in like March, April, and then everything.
Yeah. That's fair. But, there's one thing I'll never forget, and that is the first night after my first dose.
I didn't get that much from my first dose.
Didn't you?
No, I could sleep just fine.
Oh, you were lucky.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, the general rule of the COVID vaccine is whichever vaccine you get symptoms with, the other one you won't.
Yeah.
So if you had your symptoms with your first dose, your second one should be pretty much clear. However, if you didn't get it with your first dose, you're more than likely to get it with your second, unless you're stupendously lucky like my dad. I didn't get symptoms either time.
I mean, that's something to brag about.
Very true. But yeah, 10 out of 10. All in all, well worth it. Worth it for about literally a night's worth of just feeling a bit trash.
Yeah. 10 out of 10 would actually do it so I could travel / get back to uni again. Because quite a few unis made it mandatory to get both vaccines.
Yeah.
Mine definitely has.
Allergies are a thing.
We don't question that.
Like, if allergies are present, then of course, well.
Yeah, I'm going with we don't question that.
Uh-oh, okay. Yeah, let's move on. Yeah. Because I do know a friend of mine, Lola. She looked up the ingredients as soon as they came out. She's allergic to damn near all of them.
Ah.
Yeah. Which is a huge, huge shame.
That's a minor issue.
Yeah. Also, if you're watching this, Lola, hi.
Hello there.
Yeah. Hopefully, in the next few weeks, we should start to see the vaccine numbers rise and rise and rise and rise. At this point, I'm fully thinking the Welsh population will be completely covered by March, as in how many people we can actually do.
Out of Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and England, who do you think is going to get fully vaccinated first?
Well, seeing as we're almost done, I'm going to say us. Because let me pull up the statistics once again. There it is. Okay, let me scroll down. Here's the percentages for each country with first doses and second once the page actually loads. Percentages. Aha! Okay, the first dose percentages for each country in the UK. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I'm destroying my room. It's fine.
That's normal.
It can be fixed after the stream, probably. Anyway, let's start with the first doses. England has 89.7% of their population first dosed. Scotland has 91.4% of their population had their first dose. Wales is at 91.7%, so we're just in front of Scotland. And Northern Ireland is the lowest with 86%, which is quite surprising, as Ireland has the lowest population.
Oh, right.
Anyway, yeah, very strange. Anyway, second doses. England is at 76.5% of the population done. Scotland is at 77.8%. Wales is at 84.9%, so we are storming that.
Yeah.
And Northern Ireland at 76.9%. So, considering how far ahead we are on the second doses alone, I think it'll be Wales to do it first.
Honestly, I think I agree with you there.
Yeah, because actual population, as of today, we have. I will also be mentioning this in my vaccine update tomorrow, so slight spoilers. 2,313,528 people on their first dose. And second doses are 2,141,039 people. Out of 3.1 million. So we are well over. Oh, we have a voice message for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
Well, hang on a minute. You're talking about percentages of countries that have varying numbers of people living in them. So you might have a higher percentage, but then that's one in every how many people? You can't just claim Wales is storming it because the numbers don't add up.
Okay, that's actually a really good point. Yeah, okay. Fair play. That is actually a really good point. Yeah. Yeah, Wales's population is very small in comparison to the rest of the UK. In fact, we're the second smallest population.
That does make sense as well. So
yeah, okay, so yeah, fair point. I'll give you yeah. But
although it was mainly the question of hypothetically who would get vaccinated first out of all four countries, but if we're doing it through knowing that everybody doesn't have the same amount of population, it would be the one with the smallest population.
Although that would indicate Ireland, but as I said, I think they're actually doing the worst out of the UK nations. Yeah, on both doses, they're actually doing the worst.
Which again is quite curious as to.
Yeah, like their population's 2/3 the size of ours. Like they're a population of 1 million, so in theory they should have been done months ago.
In theory, but then again,
yeah,
depending on when the vaccines were first released versus how they're offering them.
again, they're doing the worst out of the UK nations by percentage. But again, how many people per capita is that? You know, it's really difficult to tell unless you're doing it on the numbers themselves. So, you know, you've really got to study that a little deeper.
Yeah, again, that's also a good point.
It's something to consider for next week, at least.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, like, well, in regards to who finishes the vaccine first, mainly, it doesn't really matter. As long as we all finish at some point.
Yeah, as long as the population gets vaccinated
Yeah.
or vaccinated
Yeah.
as they can, that should be fine.
You know, like, overall, we don't want to make this a race, really.
No.
Because it doesn't really... Because if one country loses, we all lose. Because that'll mean COVID is still around and taking lives, which we uncategorically do not want.
Although then again, you can say that about the Black Death, because we haven't seen that in a while, but we don't know.
About that. Oh.
You make it sound like a conspiracy theory.
Oh.
All that matters is that anybody who can be vaccinated should get themselves vaccinated. And the whole idea of being an anti-vaxxer is ridiculous. Yes, I'm already vaccinated, double shot vaccinated, and I'm proud of that fact. Even though I got what was probably the worst of the vaccines, the AstraZeneca. But at least I'm vaccinated.
I can relate to everything you just said. I myself got the AstraZeneca vaccine too. 2 weeks before the rule came in that under 40s shouldn't have it, and I'm 19, so yeah. But yeah, I can fully relate to everything you just said. If you can get it, please get it, because you're not just protecting yourself. That is one of the biggest misconceptions about this. You're protecting everybody around you. It's like, if you know somebody that would be vulnerable to this horrific virus, don't get it for yourself, get it for them.
Just have some common courtesy, really. It's just,
yeah,
you know, there's people out there that's gonna get hurt if they get this virus, so at least
like,
making sure that you do this for the sake of others as well as yourself.
Exactly. If you know somebody's gonna not come out well after having this virus, get the vaccine so that they don't have to have it. Just think of it like that, people. A little bit of Cameron wisdom there. That's very rare.
It's not that it's rare, it's just that it's in weird places.
Yeah, it pops up at rather odd times, but I think this time was probably one of the better times.
Well warranted, and thank you for sending messages in, because that's made us think about it a little bit more as well.
Yeah, thank you, Dale, I think your name was. That's definitely gonna... Yeah, I've definitely shifted a lot of perspectives after hearing those, so thank you for that. Anyway, that brings us into our last 10 minutes, actually. So, now to end the show off, as you'd think we'd start it, how has your week been?
Yeah, not too bad. A couple of safe trips out at least, and again, saw you yesterday.
Yeah. Same goes here, actually. Couple of safe trips out. One included birthday present buying for my mum. Oh, another voice message.
What you're going to find is, if you run into a proper anti-vaxxer, their argument is going to be, well, what's the point of getting the vaccination if I can still catch COVID? Well, for a start, as far as I'm aware, there is no such thing as a vaccine that makes you immune to anything. it's a layer of protection. It means you don't end up in hospital, you don't die. And it also means that it's a lot harder for you to transmit the vaccine. So that's where you're protecting other people. But they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear it.
Again, another good point. Yeah, but unfortunately, that's the way of the world. People are going to disagree, but it's a very complicated mess, unfortunately.
As long as
But
the majority end up
yeah,
doing the right thing, the minority in this case will at least not have as much of an effect.
yeah. But yeah, so as I was saying before, yes, I have been out a couple of times this week. Of course, seeing you yesterday as well. Got a couple more days out planned this week. Tomorrow I'm going out to Chester for a meal and to an aquarium.
Been there, done that, already did that last week. Wow.
Yeah, I know. And we're going to the same aquarium, and I'm going to the same aquarium as well.
Nice, nice. Again, just
Yeah.
be careful in there. I will warn you, there's quite a few people who don't wear masks when you go in there, but they do still have the signs up for people wearing
Yeah.
masks. So just make
Got
sure
it.
to stay safe,
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. It'll be as if I'm still in Wales.
I don't know, I'm just making sure for your safety.
Oh yeah,
Because
don't worry.
you're technically more vulnerable than me.
Only just, but yeah. But yeah, I've got a fairly busy week ahead of me. Summer is slowly, well, actually, very quickly starting to wrap up. So, in fact, in about 2-3 weeks' time, I'll be back in college. Oh, just gonna play this voice message again.
Yeah, but he's vaccinated, so he's actually safe. Just make sure you keep your mask on. That's pretty much all there is to it.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Very true, but still, better safe than sorry, I think. Like,
Yeah.
with me being disabled, it would be better for me to be safer. So, I am probably still going to stick to the Welsh rules, even though I'll be in England. But that's what we'll be doing anyway, because we're all from Wales, so we'll have to play by the Welsh rules because we'll actually be going on a bus from Wales, so we may as well just stick to the Welsh rules, which I'll end up doing anyway, because I know the vaccine is very effective, but if there is a tiny, tiny, tiny chance I can still catch it, I'm going to do everything I can to avoid it. But as I said, the chance is very, 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 very tiny. But yeah. So gonna be doing that tomorrow. That's gonna be very fun. Can't wait for that to happen. As for the rest of the week, I might actually be meeting up with you on Tuesday, mightn't I? Depending on how the vaccine treats you.
Yeah, because again, symptoms. So
Yeah,
depending on how long they're gonna last, because it lasts differently for different people, but it'll
yeah,
be. Oh well.
yeah. Best I can advise is get some paracetamol in you.
I'll do that after we end this.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, more than fair. But yeah, and of course Wednesday I can't mention that just in case.
Yeah, we're not mentioning Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh, another one last voice message. Oh.
Well, hang on. Is this your first or second shot? If it's your first shot, okay. But if it's your second shot, did you have side effects after the first one?
We both had 2 now. I had
Yeah, this is my
yeah.
second, and I didn't get symptoms from my first one.
Okay, so
So
you will probably get a few this time.
yeah,
Right.
oh, it happens again, but
Yeah,
yeah,
again, it's worth it for feeling a bit trash for a day or two.
yeah.
Because I know that's what I was thinking when I took my jab. I thought, okay, I'm slightly nervous because I've heard the side effects, but on the other hand, the side effects way outweigh the results of not getting it. Oh, another voice message. Ooh.
If you didn't get any symptoms from your first shot, the chances of you getting side effects from the second are very slim.
Oh,
And most people get them after the first shot, but not the second.
Okay,
Oh.
all right.
okay. I may have actually misheard that fact. Oh,
I mean,
again, thank
I
you for the
think,
information.
yeah, thanks for that. Again, it's just because other people have been saying you get more from this one, and
Yeah.
I did have the nurse tell me that I would potentially get symptoms from this one, so
Yeah.
that's what I was basing it off. But thank you for at least educating me on that.
Yeah. Yeah. And me as well, because I thought it was a case of if you didn't get it with your first one, you'd get it with your second. But if you got symptoms with your first, you wouldn't with the second. So thank you for the course correction on that one. Yeah, those are my plans for next week as well. And then, of course, I'll be recording throughout the week. And then, of course, I'll be back on here on Sunday evening at 6 p.m. British summertime, as per always. Oh, one last voice message, probably.
Well, it is possible, but it is very slim. It's not very often that it happens, and you should be okay. Just try not to think about it, really.
Yeah.
Good advice there, thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, seeing as we started this actually on time for once, shall we wrap this little stream up?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right then. As always, people, thank you all for coming to the stream if you're watching on stereo, or if you're watching it later on the next day on YouTube. Thank you all for watching it on YouTube. Don't forget, if you're on stereo, to follow me on here. If you're on here, you're seeing my account, obviously. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Don't forget as well to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Astounding Cameron on all three accounts. Once you've done that too, don't forget to subscribe to Roxanne on her YouTube channel at Mianette. Yes, got it right this time.
Yay.
And don't forget as well to follow her on her blog. What's the blog name again?
We can sort that in the link, don't worry.
Yeah, sounds good to me. And so with that little thing, I will see you guys next week, unless you have a fact of the week.
I don't actually this week.
No! But in that case, I will see you all next week. Goodbye!
Bye.